Seguimos en FutureCom 2014 haciendo la cobertura del congreso desde Sao Paulo, donde se lleva a cabo este evento de telecomunicaciones de Brasil, pero también regional, y contamos en este caso con un panel para discutir temas de la transformación de los sistemas BSS. Tenemos con nosotros a Robert y a Dennis de la empresa Comarch y de la empresa Converse. Déjenme cambiar al inglés, que es el idioma común con el que vamos a estar haciendo esta entrevista. Robert, Dennis, welcome to telesemana.com. Thank you for being here. So as I was saying, this is a panel to discuss BSS transformation, and obviously you guys are two companies that are helping operators drive their transformation on the BSS systems. Very briefly, you can explain what does it mean when we are saying that these guys, the operators, need to transform their BSS systems. What are we talking about? You first.
Okay. So in every business, but especially in the communication business, everything is changing constantly. So if business is not changing, it's staying behind and is losing the money. So currently, in the communications, we are in the situation when there's already 100 saturation of the subscribers, mobile subscribers, and the importance of the voice service, which is traditionally the most important revenue for the operators, it is becoming less and less important. It's coming data, but data is not enough.
Yeah.
The operators need to search for new sources of the revenue. So the operators need to offer some more applications, not only the connectivity.
So that's the direction. But when it comes to the BSS systems, what do they need to change to make the business agile?
Yes, what we need to change is first to be flexible, to develop fast new services, because the business cannot wait so much. We need to, the operators are forced to cooperate with other content providers, some application providers. So we need to be flexible to integrate with them, but also to calculate the revenue share between all the partners. So we are helping the operators in that.
Okay. Then, Dennis, do you agree with that? What are you proposing?
I think for me the four main reasons why operators are facing challenges and they need to transform their BSS system is mainly the four fundamental challenges. First, they need to increase their revenue. Okay, that's a given, but it's better said than done. They need, in parallel, to reduce cost. Okay, they need to also increase customer satisfaction to delight them, and they need to increase their brand. And I think the brand is one of the key issues today for CSPs in the world. But but none of them are it's simple for them today. I think the mobile penetration in most of the market is approaching saturation. Traditional revenue, as you said, from voice and services, are going down. And at the same time, the competition between the CSPs is increasing, and they need to do huge network investment, for 3G, 4G, etc. So it's a kind of a catch-22, as we say. So I think also the internet economy has radically altered the customer loyalty to operators. Now they are more loyal to their smartphone, or more loyal to their preferred social media player. So I think. Growth, because I think that's what we're talking about when we're talking transformation, is to get more growth. I think in Latin America, where we are today, I think it can be achieved by more investment in mobile broadband and adoption in mobile broadband, and then operators working on really increasing their brand, because I think in Latin America especially, the brand of the operators is quite strong compared to some of the more mature market where people are not caring too much about the brand. And I think in my view that's an advantage compared to the other top players which are more global and are not as linked to the local culture as maybe some CSPs are in Latam.
Okay. Now, when we talk about also BSS transformation, things that we hear as a media, we hear things like real-time, online and offline charging. We hear connectivity with policy systems to make sure that you can address some of the the demands that users have in terms of I want to use this OTT but not this other one, so I can provide policy for that and then charge for that policy. But at the same time, because I'm seeing this huge number of transactions and I have to have everything in real time, I need to have, as you were saying, reduce cost by reducing the load to those systems, because those systems are getting really overloaded with transactions. How can they accomplish this? Is there a way to get all this done in a cost-effective way so they can actually engage in these new business models without increasing the cost significantly?
I think from my perspective, with my work with our customers, well, it seems that we are far from doing it everything real time, full real time, but we need to just.
You are far. Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
It needs to be done.
But there are some elements that only those elements that they really need in real time.
Okay.
So one example is the bill shock prevention, which is a standard for Europe, but also can be the case for some other operations like in Latin America. Or in some reports, the subscribers want to see how much calls they made, how much data they used, as far as they may use the service. So we can help that with some near real time.
Near real time.
Yeah. So reducing the cost, subscriber, the customer of operators, they receive what they really need.
Okay. What do you think about those different topics?
I think the technology, I think we need to help the CSPs to work at the internet speed. And being able for the customers to have a real-time balance with much more integration, as you said, between rating, charging, and policy. I think that's the key of what we need to propose and what we as Converse, are proposing to these operators. Really, this agility, and then this offered the possibility, then almost online to create based on what's going on in the market some real-time offers, promotions, and things like that via the policy system that usually would take months otherwise to configure, test, etc. And I think there's also something where we need to help CSPs and where we can help CSPs about real-time data analytics, analyzing the behavior of customers and being able to react very fast, offer some promotions where we detect some behaviors and things like that. And I think that's where, as BSS vendors, we can add, value to those CSPs and help them retain those customers, which are, in the beginning not very, very loyal. And with that, I think they may become more loyal and not just loyal to the social media or to their smartphone, as we discussed before.
Okay. Recently, there was a study in Europe where one company called Nord Stream, they said that the operators were losing a lot of money because they weren't able to reach quick agreements or fast agreements with many OTTs. Like they were reaching agreements, let's say, with Facebook, here in Latin America, for example, to allow some users to use Facebook for free. Or they were able to reach an agreement with WhatsApp to provide free WhatsApp. But they should engage in those type of agreements with many companies, not just Facebook or WhatsApp, but they couldn't because of their BSS systems. So I don't know if that's something that you're trying to communicate to the operators, the fact that they need to be quick, or they should be able to very quickly reach agreements with OTTs so they can have a bunch of partners and then pick up the ones that are working and the ones that are not, and they can just break the agreement and not work with them. I don't know if that's something that you...
But I think that's also where we can help them, because I forgot to mention before that now I think we as BSS vendor, are providing tools for final user also to personalize their service, to change the service, and maybe to select the plans in which they can access to this specific social media or over the top player. And I think these are tools which are not existing a few years ago, but that we are able to propose now, and which are directly linked to the policy system and can be changed almost in real time. I think that's how we can help CSPs. Of course, they still need to sign agreements in the background with the Facebook and the others, but now we have the tools to help them to do that.
Okay. Any comment on the OTT?
Yeah, we are trying to help our customers with that. We provide the end-to-end solutions and the ability to sell the cloud application for the mobile operators. By providing our solutions, they are able to add in a fast manner integrations with other partners. And so our applications, for example, allow to access the system for different type of users, for the operators themselves, for the end customers with the customer self-care, but also by the partners to see only the information which is related to them.
Okay. What about machine to machine? When it comes to the Internet of Things and machine to machine, are the BSS systems going to change or need to be, I don't know, make even more efficient, because we're going to have even more transactions and more devices with more policy, more charging. So what's going to happen with that? More transformation?
Yeah, this is a very potential. It's just at the beginning, but it is the future. So we just need to be flexible to be open to other new types of services. one example, which we are currently working in some trial project, the e-healthcare.
Okay.
So some with health problem could have some measurements made every some time, and in the case of any troubles, some automation can make some decisions to call the emergency or not to call the emergency, or suggest a visit with a doctor.
Okay.
There can be many applications for that.
What do you think about the machine-to-machine or Internet of Things and the BSS systems?
Yeah, I think as a BSS provider, the architecture is there. I mean, handling large volumes, and especially for simple production, the architecture is there. So it's more about how do we interface with the ecosystem, which today is quite different from one industry to the next. I think one thing which will help also in this world, that's a solution that we are providing now, is to be able to access simple billing system in the cloud, and for some of these players, outside telco, to buy or to use billing, as a service, and that's an infrastructure that we have today that we can propose. So that's also an evolution that I see, especially for small providers just starting. Maybe not for the big ones, but for the small ones, I think that's something that I think we can help those companies to develop their business with, because we know the business, but they don't have to implement a large project. They can access this on a subscription basis. Okay,
final question. How would you define the state of the BSS transformation in Latin America, the clients that you have here in the region? Are they really behind operators in Europe or in the US? Are they really catching up with them? They have different needs, does their BSS transformation?
I would say it's difficult to compare, because the nature of these markets are
different.
Yeah.
I think it's
they have different needs.
I would say it depends on the countries, but I think it's catching up with the rest of the world, and especially Asia and Europe. What I see now is a growing need, and that we are personally as Converse, as providing. Those operators, they realize that they need to change quickly and to transform quickly. And usually this in a traditional environment, this takes time. And I think that's why they are looking at partners now who can really provide an end-to-end service, with a managed services approach, take over the current operations, do the transformation, run the operations, have a team who can do the application development, maintenance in a very quick manner, and with a service which is not based on technology KPIs, but business KPIs. How fast can we introduce a new offer, a new promotion to the market? And then, as a partner who can really commit and be paid some kind of a reward basis. I think that's what the trend that we are seeing today, and where we, Converse in particular, have been quite successful.
Excellent. Well, Dennis, Robert, thank you so much for joining us today in this panel.
Thank you.
And have a good show.
Thank you very much.